They are lethal. They will take your breath away. They are ladies, artfully seductive, graphically sensual. They will assault your senses. They are incorporated. They will bend your mind, shatter your sanity, and seal your fate. Lethal Ladies Inc. Try us on for size. We will take your breath away.
They're all messed up.
Howdy, gang. I hope everybody can see me okay and hear me okay. The little signal strength thing has popped up again on StreamYard. So your guess is as good as mine. I may take a look at this after the stream is over and see how it plays. Now, the last time it did this, everybody was telling me it was fine. So, and there's a daggone fly flying around here, a house fly. Every time we open this back door, this warm weather, they want to come in. Um, but here in a little bit, I don't know if I'm going to have anybody. I saw somebody pop in and pop out. Um, I know all of these things have been late, later than I intended them to be all this week. It's just one of those weeks where I had to, put in extra time at work, and that put me behind watching the movies. I should watch the movies the night before. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. And in this case, I didn't, and I probably should have. Um, but here in a little bit, we're going to be talking about evil come, evil go. Man, that was a hard one, folks. And I'm going to get to that here in just a minute. And the Flesh and Blood show which is a Pete Walker slasher. I will say right off, this was not my favorite Pete Walker slasher. It was good, but not, I didn't like it as well as like Schizo and stuff like that. So it was an early one. Both of these films came out in 1972. So I think Pete Walker's slashers got a little more bloody and more deaths as he went along. So anyway, I'm going to get a few housekeeping things out of the way before I get to these movies. And this probably won't take very long, or it shouldn't take very long. But anyway, hopefully you guys and gals have noticed the last few streams I've done. I've had the deadites.deck.com, um, and I knew that was going to happen. Excuse me a second. Apparently, all my girl dogs decided they wanted to go out all at the same time. Um, and I don't even know where Darcy's at out there. Hopefully, she'll come to the door here in a little bit. But hopefully, y'all have noticed a new overlay advertising my horror shop at deaditesondeck.com. And there's little Poe there, who is the official mascot of the Deadites on Deck horror shop. And you should hop on over there and take a look at the t-shirt designs, the tote bags, the mouse pads, hat, blended tees, candles. And remember, if you're not a horror fan, or you are a horror fan and you get on the site and or get on the shop and you don't see exactly what you're looking for, hey, there is a handy dandy form on the homepage of the shop where you can request that I create something for you. And I will be glad to come up with a mock-up or whatever to see if we can come to an agreement. And if we come to an agreement and you're willing to pay me, hey, I'll be glad to make whatever it is that you want me to make, as long as it's legal, okay? So I just wanted to bring that up. We got a couple of watch-alongs coming up this weekend. Saturday's watch-along starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Time will be Madman. CK over at Dead Pit. That's one of his favorite horror movies. He thinks it's better than The Burning. I beg to differ, but, we'll just have to agree to disagree on that. I do like Madman, just not as much as I do The Burning. Sunday's film is, in my opinion, a great summertime film, a great nostalgic feeling summertime film, which will be Dazed and Confused, also starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm also planning on doing a movie munchie specifically for Friday the 13th. Hopefully I can get my button gear and get that done tomorrow at some point. They are pre-recorded. I don't do them live anymore. So look for that to drop at some point tomorrow, probably in the evening, the afternoon or evening, folks. I will be making Voorhees burgers and Jason fingers, just like they had at Joey B's Diner on Jason Goes to Hell. Well, maybe not exactly like those, but that's where I got the idea. So, and then we've got an all new special Friday the 13th movie munchie song that I hope you're going to enjoy. And I guess that's it for updates and housekeeping stuff. Oh, Movie Roulette is in full effect because this is a live stream. So if you want to play Movie Roulette, all you got to do is give a $5 or more super chat during this live stream or any other live streams I do, including watch alongs. And you can pick any movie of your choosing for me to watch and do a review over. Hey, it doesn't have to be horror. It can be sci-fi. It can be comedy. It can be drama. I prefer it not be a porno, but, people may ask, and it could even be a movie I said I hated in the past. Who knows? Maybe I'll like it this time around. So don't be shy. If you want to play Movie Roulette, $5 or more super chat will allow you to do that. I've got a Movie Roulette coming up for What We Do in the Shadows and Missing, a film from 2023. Both of these were picked by Menelect, who gave generous super chats, and thank you again for that, sir. So I'm going to try to get that one out before the end of the month. Okay. So I'm not sure about Friday Foolish. I still got to hear from Candace. So if we don't have a Friday Foolish, you're still hopefully going to get a Movie Munchies, a special Friday the 13th Movie Munchies. Okay. So that is all the housekeeping stuff. So let's get started talking about these movies. And the reason I'm laughing is because every once in a blue moon, somebody will consider something a slasher film when I watch it and I consider it either porn or pretty daggone close to porn. Okay. Evil Come, Evil Go is one of those movies. I had no idea. I had absolutely no idea what I was in for. I mean, I read the plot synopsis and said a religious fanatic kills people who engage in sex, and I was like, okay, well, isn't that like a lot of slashers out there, with or without a religious fanatic? Okay, but I think 42nd Street Pete said it all. I saw that he had done a review of it 11 months ago, and the title of his video was, "We thought this was a horror movie. We were wrong." That should have told me something there. So, I mean, there's blood, there's stabbing, there's strangling, and all that stuff. But there's some pretty, in my opinion, explicit sex scenes. Now, some of you guys and gals might watch it and say, "Dang, you don't know what you're talking about." But guys, gals, I'm not trying to be nasty here, but when the camera zooms in on a woman's nether regions, and I don't mean that it's just showing the surface of that. It's almost going in places that I didn't want it to go. And you know, some of the sex scenes looked ridiculous. Um, the woman was supposed to be performing oral sex on this guy, and she wasn't anywhere near the area where his penis was. But then other ones would zoom right in on a woman's nether regions and almost, go inside the door, folks. I mean, it was that close. Okay, but what is the movie about? It's exactly what the plot synopsis said, that there's a religious fanatic woman called Sarah Jane who wants to kill these evil, dirty, nasty men that want to have pleasurable sex. She said you should only be having sex to produce babies. You should not be having sex for pleasure. And she kills any man and one woman in the film because the woman that she kills is a lesbian. So we have Sarah Jane, and she meets this guy in a bar, and she takes him. I mean, they either go back to her place or a hotel room or something, and they're having sex. And the next thing you see is this guy's been butchered, basically, stabbed many, many times. And I probably should talk about the kills because there's not very many of them in here before I get too deep into it. So let's talk about the kills real quick. So Amanda stabbed to death at the beginning. You don't actually see her stab him. You see her leaving the bar with him. And then basically the next thing you know, this guy's laying sprawled on the bed, all butchered. Okay. You have another man that's stabbed in the back, and that's the guy that it looks like she's performing oral sex, but not really, because she's nowhere near his member. Okay. So that was ridiculous, but she stabs him in the back. Um, then there's another man that's stabbed in the stomach, and I just lost two people when I was talking about that. They probably said, "Oh my gosh, what am I in here? What's going on here?" Um, and there's also a woman strangled and suffocated. Okay, so we just got four deaths in this one. I can't even really call this one a slasher film. Which Steve has told me some of the movies that I pulled from a list of supposed slasher films are not really slasher films either. But, you got to go from some list. I don't know every daggone slasher that's out there. Um, but, so she kills a couple of guys and then she meets this woman, Penny, who she converts to, you know, helping her kill these evil guys, right? And so that's basically the story of this. And none other than John Holmes worked on this. And John Holmes uh, worked his, or wormed his way in there somehow. Um, I think it was said he lied to get to be a makeup man on this movie. And I don't know if John Holmes working on the film had anything to do with all this explicit sexual activity and close-ups of things I didn't really want to see in this movie. Um, I don't know at all, but John Holmes did work on the movie. And anybody that knows even a tiny, tiny bit about porn knows that John Holmes was was in pornos. Um, but oh, folks, yeah, I can't. I'll show you the poster. The poster is better than the movie itself. Um, you know, says hell hath no fury. It's got this woman with her boobs almost hanging out, raising a knife, and that is Sarah Jane in the movie. But yeah, this is a perfect example of a movie where the poster is much, much better than the movie. Um, this did come out in 1972 as well. It was directed by Walt Davis. Heck, I don't know. That could be a porn director's pseudonym for all I know. Um, but yeah, definitely not one that I'm going to be revisiting. But if you are interested in watching it, it is on the Fossum app, which is a free app. They've got a lot of different kinds of movies. Most of them are not good movies, because everything I've watched on there hasn't been too great. Um, and so, you know, I would like to be able to give a supposed slasher film a higher rating, but folks, this is the best I can do. It is give it 2 deadites out of 5, and that is only for the death scenes. Or I would be, I would want to give it a 1 maybe, or a half, or a 0 even. So just bear that in mind, folks, before you start thinking about, oh, I want to watch Evil Come, Evil Go. No, you don't. You you I'm not gonna say that there might not be a portion of the population that might enjoy it, but this guy wasn't one of them. All right, so moving on to one that I thought I was going to like better because I'm a huge fan of Pete Walker slashers, right? Um, and Pete Walker was a British director. I'm not even sure Pete Walker's still alive. If he is, I should talk about him in the present tense. But so the movie that I watched that also came out in 1972 is part of this collection that I just got in that I got with some of my birthday money. And the film that I watched was The Flesh and Blood Show. All right. So, you know, I was expecting it, I guess, to be gorier because I was basing it on Frightmare and Schizo, which I really, really like. And I have yet to watch The Comeback. I've been told that The Comeback is a good one of his as well. And I have volume 1 and volume 2 now of the Pete Walker collection. So, what is this movie about? Okay, well, let's talk about the kills first and then I'll get to the plot. So, we had a total of 6 kills in this one. So, this one had 2 more kills in it than Evil Come, Evil Go. So, we got a woman beheaded. We got a man stabbed in the face and the stomach and also drowned. Okay, so triple whammy there, or double whammy. A woman stabbed in the back. A man and a woman tied up and locked away and just left to die and starve to death. Um, and then we got a woman stabbed to death. So a lot of stabbing going on in both movies. Um, but I like this one much, much better. This was more of my type of horror movie or my type of slasher movie. And so you have a group of actors that gets together to be part of something called the Flesh and Blood Show. Well, once they get to this place, the person that hired all of them or, invited them to come here to this place that was close to a pier, um, they don't ever see this guy. Or maybe it's a woman. But whatever the case may be, they don't see this individual. So, but you have a guy that's the director, and you have all these actors and actresses who have come, and they don't really, they start, practicing and doing not auditions, but working out the scenes and all this stuff because it's more of like a stage play, right? And the guy that received this invitation to do this from this unknown source is pretty much directing them, right? So one interesting thing, and I knew it was this guy, Tristan Rogers, who I didn't realize he was Australian, but Tristan Rogers was Australian. For those of you that were fans of General Hospital many moons ago, he played Robert Scorpio. And I was like, that's Robert Scorpio. I know who that is. And then I looked it up. Sure enough, Tristan Rogers, he was in this. And I'm not so sure that the hand grabbing the girl's boob and stuff was him because they didn't actually show him doing it. And there's not really any explicit nudity from him in the film. So if you're wanting to see naked Tristan Rogers, you ain't going to find it there or in this movie. So slowly, and I say slowly because the pacing seemed a little weird to me in this one, and that might have been why I didn't like it as well as some of Pete Walker's later stuff, because it just seemed too slow in spots. And it seemed like there were long stretches where nothing happened. It was just like, people talking and standing around and not really anything to move the plot along. But the death scenes were okay. Wasn't anything to write home about. Now, if you watch Schizo or Frightmare or one of Pete Walker's other slasher films, you will see a lot more, as Joe Bob would say, slime glopola on the screen. Not so with the Flesh and Blood show, right? Um, and I think because I've seen so many of these, and I'm not bragging, but I think because I've seen so many of these slasher films over time that I was able to pick out who the killer was. Um, so decent little horror film, decent little slasher film. Not a bad Pete Walker film. Just not one of my favorites. If you were to ask me which was my favorite Pete Walker film that I've seen, I would have to say Schizo. Um, and I'm sure that I'll be talking about Schizo at some point during this series. So, what kind of rating am I going to give this? Now, again, folks, please visualize the half, okay? I know I've been lazy and I have not gotten that half on there as of yet, but I'm going to give this one 3.5 deadites out of 5 because it wasn't fantastic. It wasn't schizo level. It wasn't even Frightmare level, but it was still decent and it was watchable. Um, and I'm not sure if you can watch the Flesh and Blood show for free anywhere, but you may be able to catch it on Tubi or something. But if you can get your hands on this Pete Walker Collection Volume 2, you can get the Flesh and Blood show, you can get Frightmare, House of Mortal Sin, Home Before Midnight, and you get a bonus Blu-ray disc with the Big Switch Man of Violence. So, gang, I guess that is all for me. I've been on here almost 30 minutes. I hope that you guys and gals, and I did forget to change my font, but that's okay. We'll live. It's too late to change it now. That's what I get for running behind. I'm always a day late and a dollar short. But I want to thank those of you that were in here. Nobody was in the chat tonight, but that's okay. I did see people coming in and out of here, so I want to thank all of you that at least took a peek at what I was talking about. I want to remind you that I'm going to have a new series. I don't know if it's always going to be on Mondays. Hey, Torgo, you'll have to look for this one. I'm assuming you're talking about the Flesh and Blood show. The Flesh and Blood show you may be able to find on YouTube, possibly Tubi or something like that if you want to watch it for free and not, pay what $30 or whatever and buy this collection from Amazon. But what was I going to say? Oh, I'm going to be starting a new series here shortly, and the first one's going to take place on a Monday, but I don't know if this is going to be a regular Monday thing or these are just going to be random and sporadic and doing them whenever I can do them. Internet Archive, you are correct. That Internet Archive is a good resource as well. I'm glad you brought that up. But it's called Horror Movie Rewind. And what we're going to be talking about on Horror Movie Rewind is goofs and mistakes in your favorite horror films. And the first one I'm going to do is for American Werewolf in London. So if you are at all interested in being able to go back and watch some of your favorite horror films and pick out all the mistakes and the goofs and if a boom mic is showing or the crew is reflected in the window glass of a vehicle or stuff is set up one way in one shot and then the next shot it's switched around and so we're going to be talking about all of that on the new series Horror Movie Rewind. So for those of you that will watch this on the replay, I will thank you as well in advance. But that is all for me for tonight. And as always, I'm off like a dirty shirt. This shirt ain't dirty, but I'm off like one. And I want to remind everybody, as I always do before I get off of here for the night, to be kind to one another and blaze that trail. Have a fantastic rest of your Thursday night, folks. Tomorrow is Friday and it's Friday the 13th. So be sure to celebrate in style. It's not a bad luck day, folks. For us horror fans, it's a time to rejoice. Another excuse to watch Friday the 13th films or any horror films if you want to. So I am out of here for now, but I'll see everybody next time.